you so much for joining us for this week's ScotWeek podcast. I'm Kelsey, Deanne, the Vice President of ScotWeek, and
hi, I'm Cindi McIntosh, and I am so excited for our guest today. We have on Liza, and we have Matt from LA Curling, and this is truly such a treat for us, because I can't tell you, or maybe I've told you guys in the past, how many people have wanted to do curling through the different Scottish organizations we're connected with throughout Southern California, and I want that opportunity. I'm very excited about LA Curling. I can't even tell you. I already have volunteers to send your way, by the way. But why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're doing, and tell it for the people who have never really tried curling, or maybe don't know what it is. Maybe just kind of give a broad overview first off of what curling is.
I'm Matt with the Southern California Curling Center. We are short for Curling LA, is our short moniker on all our social media and our website. And we are the home of Hollywood Curling Club, who's been curling in Southern California for 12 years now. And curling is just a really interesting ice sport that a lot of people see on the Olympics and don't quite get the first time you're watching it, because it's not entirely clear what the rules are. To see a target, you're used to maybe darts or whatever other kind of sports you might play or seen with a target kind of component. But it's pretty simple. You're just trying to get to the center of that target with your stone, out count your other opponents, kind of playing bocce ball or horseshoes or shuffleboard. And there's, you get into the sweeping and some of the science and strategy of it, but the short of it is you're just sliding these big stones down a sheet of ice to get closer to the middle of this target. And very social, kind of fun game, and lots of different levels that you can attack it at.
That's amazing. And I know that we're so excited that you're going to be part of ScotWeek, and thank you so much for that. And you're going to come to our red carpet reception at the Fairmont next April, and you have, and for the lack of a better term of what to call it, you have kind of a pop-up curling. People can kind of try out the sport.
We often refer to it as our street curling setup. We take it to festivals and beer week and bars and places where we want to help expose people to the sport without asking them to walk into an ice facility or an ice rink in town. And so it's like a little portable setup. And it kind of vaguely resembles curling, but it just really is a nice little quote unquote icebreaker, forgive the pun, that lets us kind of start the conversation about what this crazy sport is and how they can get involved, and, kind of do it in the spirit of the sport, which is usually you share a drink with your opponents. So if we can bring our street curling setup to, a social environment, it helps introduce people.
And it's big and it's interactive, and it gets people kind of engaged and talking, and kids love it. And it's, it's the way we can show people, like Liza said, without bringing them on the ice, because our ice time is very limited. And our locations is very, it's one location, so we could take this anywhere, which is really exciting.
Mm-hmm. And something Liza just said, it brings people together. One of the things I really loved learning about you guys was that you work with diverse people to bring them together. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. We've been working for a number of years. Before Southern California Curling Center was an entity, both Matt and I were very heavily involved in Hollywood Curling, which has been around for going on 13 years now. And a big part of the mission of the organization was to help, bring the sport to the community. We have several partnerships with different organizations around town, including Angel City Games, Triumph Foundation, where we're working with those who are wheelchair bound. And giving them an avenue to play. Wheelchair curling is a Paralympic sport. And, it's one of the only sports out there where you really can have somebody who is wheelchair bound playing with an able-bodied player on the same team in the same game, and there's almost no rule modification for it. You certainly can't really accomplish that with most other sports. And so curling has an accessibility to it that it, makes it pretty unique. And so, we've been really strongly pursuing that avenue and trying to really strengthen our relationships with those organizations and reach more people in the Los Angeles area who would really benefit from that. And so when you talk about diversity, I think that is probably where we can say we've had some success. But where we still lack is in, attracting Black and Indigenous and people of color to the sport. Curling has been, and in these times, we're all very aware, curling has been traditionally not a diverse sport in any way, shape, or form. And, the fact that curling is coming to a big, metropolitan city like Los Angeles gives us the opportunity to start to open this up to communities that otherwise had barriers that didn't really allow them to feel welcome in the sport or didn't really give them avenues to join. So that is going to be a huge part of our mission moving forward is, how do we make this accessible to the community that we serve? And the community that we serve is a lot more than just one color.
Yeah, and one of our big limitations to date has been the amount of available ice time and some of our geography. So we've been last few years predominantly in Valencia, which is kind of far flung from the big centers of the LA County in a lot of ways. And also we spots for about 32 people at a time per week, which doesn't leave a whole lot of room to really bring in people who aren't already coming to you. So we really kind of relied on just put it out there, whoever comes, which has made it do for what we had. But now we're going to be in a position where we're going to have basically curling ice for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And how can we utilize that to be good community stewards and help reflect the places we're serving with curling and bring people into the sport that we have gotten so much out of ourselves. Like with the Triumph Foundation, one of our members in Valencia worked with this organization and then helped bridge that, bring them into the Hollywood curling fold. And we've grown that relationship over the years. Their wheelchair sports festival, on ice clinics. We want to do bond spills and help get us working with Angel City games too. So, we use those connections to help expand on that. And so now as we're looking to opening up this facility, and we're going to be down in Vernon and downtown LA and South LA, we're trying to find those community connections to help bring the sport to the different parts of the city that haven't had exposure to it to date.
That's wonderful. And maybe the schools can get involved with that as well. I mean, what a wonderful thing to be able to do for youth. And so if people are trying to find you, how do people find you? How do they sign up if they want to try curling? Because I kid you not, I could send you like 50 people next month. There's so many people that I know that are very interested in trying this. How do people find you and how are they able to come and try this?
For right now, the best place to find us is curling.la. That's our website. And all of our social media, you can find us Curling LA. Or LA Curling, I should say. But right now, we're just in the building process of building our facility, getting our final permits from the city of Vernon and moving forward. So hold on to your people. Hold on to your people for just another couple months. As soon as we are able to open our doors, we're going to be offering all that programming. And our website is definitely the place to go. And if people want to learn more about Hollywood Curling, who they are going to be our main partner in the facility, and learn what they've done in the past and what they're looking to do. HollywoodCurling.org is how you reach them.
That's wonderful. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just if you get on the mailing list, and as soon as we have updates, you'll hear all that stuff right away as well, and links to sign up. And when as soon as we can, as soon as the earliest opportunity, we're going to try to get as many people indoors as possible, do it safely, do it with all the guidelines, but we want people to come in and use the building and enjoy the sport.
I can imagine you can book parties. So be able to book parties there, and have a lot of the different social clubs from Southern California would want to come and book, like a day or an afternoon, that type of thing. And we'll certainly put all the links down below in the description, especially on YouTube. So don't forget, everyone, to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, check out Curling LA on all of their social media platforms for more information. And we're so excited to have you be part of ScotWeek. And I failed to mention earlier when I was talking about the red carpet reception that you guys are actually going to be hosting an event on the ice, an official ScotWeek event. And so everyone needs to stay tuned to our website as we get this up as an additional, I think it'll be event number 5 for ScotWeek. And we're very excited to have curling as part of ScotWeek.
Mm-hmm. It's the perfect social mixer.
Yes, I can only imagine. I mean, all the times that we've all gone bowling or had a birthday party, this is so much better than that, not to knock bowling. This is going to be so much more fun. I just can't even wait. And so maybe what we can do when you are open, we can come down on site and go live and do some recording actually there. And
absolutely.
Kind of film people while they're doing it and get that out on our social media channels and with our media partners.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you. I like to say I can teach anyone how to curl. I like the challenge. Bring it on.
And it's really like it's a game too. You can learn in 30 minutes, an hour, and have a good time. And then if you're really into it, then you just spend the rest of your life just trying to master it and get better and enjoying the company of others. So it really kind of, it can scratch any of those itches. If it's just for the evening, you're going to have a good time. We've taught thousands of people over the years, and everyone comes in, it has a blast doing it, learning it with their friends. They take pictures, they kind of little slip and fall, like in the fun kind of way, and it's goofy, but it's fun. And then when you get into it, you're like, oh, this is actually a lot more intense than I would have realized.
You mentioned youth curling, and Matt mentioned earlier, we've been limited over the years with having so little access to ice. So for those that don't know, we've utilized hockey rinks for 13 years, which means that they Zamboni the ice after the hockey players or the figure skaters leave, and we have about 20 minutes to turn it into curling ice. We curl for about 2 hours, and then we have about 10 minutes to clean it all up and put all the stones away. And anybody who's ever tried the sport can tell you it's really a less than ideal way to play the sport, get good at the sport, and things like that. And also our ice times were really limiting. They weren't really conducive to families and young children. They were not incredibly conducive to, say, corporate events and things like that. And the demand for that is so high. It's absolutely there. So one of the things that makes a new facility so exciting is just being able to open up this programming to include so many more people than we've been able to capture in the past.
Yeah, when we started curling, we take ice time wherever we get it. So we curled in Panorama City until we lost that time. We curled in Valencia for the last 5 or 6 years primarily. Pasadena, we got some Saturday night ice time. And then last year or so, we've been curling down in Palos Verdes. And when we had 5 p.m. on Sunday evening, all of a sudden, families are showing up with their kids and playing on teams with each other, and things that they weren't doing when our time was at 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. on Sunday night or a weeknight, or 10 p.m. on Saturday. So, it just took 5 p.m. on Sunday night to then open it up for families and kids to come and play together. And that was really interesting to see, and rewarding to see some of these kids just, they come, they learn, take a lesson, and then they're into it. They're thinking about strategy. They're meeting each other. They're having a good time. And it's it's going to be really interesting to see how we can help grow that and work with schools too, because we tried to go down this path before in terms of trying to bring kids and bring schools into the fold, but it's hard when you're coming as an outsider to say, hey, we got this program for you, how can we do it? And people don't want to return your calls. So hopefully we're going to be able to find some of those connections that are going to help proof of concept for what we want to do with charter schools or homeschooling or other schools that may need some access to physical activities that they don't always get with the current infrastructure they have.
No, this is really amazing.
Oh, so I know you just mentioned that you're going to have your new rink pretty soon, which is very exciting. But what are some ways that people and or organizations can help you? What are some of your needs right now?
That's a great question. If there are organizations that, read this, listen to this, hear this, see this on social media and think, I think my company, my organization, my nonprofit could really benefit from some kind of partnership. We want to hear from you. We really want, we're moving into a new part of the city that we have not been in the past. So anything that we can do to grow our community is always helpful. Matt, what else do you think?
Yeah, so those partners are the big key, and partners very broad. It can be in a lot of different things. And so, some ideas are like we talked about, after school program type of things, Boys and Girls Club stuff. But even if it's just any kind of organization, doesn't even have to be tied to sports, doesn't have to be whatever it is. We could host an event that is a fundraising event for that organization. We can figure out what that looks like, and it's typically, we did it for AIDS Life Cycle a few years ago. One of the participants, who's a curler, set up this event, and so proceeds went to AIDS Life Cycle. So in that scenario, this organization brings their members, their interested parties, to the rink to learn to curl in a social team building kind of event. You can reward donors or volunteers or participants in the organization, whatever it might be, in this on ice activity. Do it, you're gonna have fun, it's gonna be social, and you're gonna raise some money for your organization. And that could be a cool way. It's good for us because we get people in the door, we show people what this is, and we get to kind of help our community partners with their goals and doing some fun stuff. And if something grows out of that, like an ongoing league or a regular yearly event or whatever that might be, we're open to those kind of things as just kind of the bare, like, if you think it could be a cool way to do a fundraiser, talk to us and we'll work something else out. If there's more kind of interconnected activities, like if it's a program that involves like physics and STEM, that you talk about curling, you talk about what's happening there, that could be more interactive as well. It could just be even like a specialty league. If we wanted to try to run, an organization wants to run like an LGBTQ league or whatever kind of thing, like there's a conversation of like a beer league. We're talking about if we get some of the craft brewers to show up and have a beer league throughout the season, that could be a fun way. So there's lots of different opportunities, and we're open to different ideas. Even if it's as simple as, hey, we kind of like what you're doing, we want to hang a banner up and advertise in your building, we can do that too. So there's we're doing something new, we're doing something that hasn't been done in Southern California before, and there's room for all sorts of ideas. We're open to them.
That's wonderful. And I want to tell you right now, ScotWeek wants a banner on your rink.
Done. Signed up. We'll follow up after.
And for those who are wondering what the connection is with Scotland, because it may not be obvious, is that curling was originated in Scotland. It was a Scottish sport, 1500s. There's the earliest records are some stones in a lock recovered with dated 1511 on it. So it was this pastime that grew out of the frozen the lakes and ponds in the winter, playing a game kind of like horseshoes. It's like lawn bowling, it's taken onto the ice. when you couldn't golf. So there's a lot of history in that with that region, and it was brought over to the North America, to Canada and the northern regions of the United States. And so, you see tartans, you hear bagpipes, you have a lot of that history that's a part of it. So we like to bring those traditions forward, but also know that we're brand new in a lot of ways, and we can make a lot of cool new traditions and really create something new with that. So we like the idea of working with ScotWeek and promoting that aspect of it, and then showing that, oh, we're brand new, we're LA, we have new curlers, we can kind of forge a new path as well. So that's kind of why we like to be involved in ScotWeek, because it's a cool mishmash of what we're about, where we are, and just kind of a cool way to engage folks that are interested in this kind of culture as well.
We're so proud that, with our Scottish heritage, that curling was born from Scotland originally, and that it's one of the Olympic sports is pretty phenomenal. So it's very cool. And I just want to thank you both for being on here with us today and giving us some more information. We really do look forward to the time when you are ready for us to come to the ice and do some filming and go, do some live Instagram actually, and some other things.
Thrilled to have you guys.
Yeah, we want to come. So let us know, keep up with us, and let us know when you're ready, and we will be there.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you both very much. And we'll put the links down below. So be sure to check out Curling Los Angeles and also ScotWeek. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you guys. Can't wait to be part of ScotWeek in the spring next year.
Wonderful. And everyone, like and subscribe and follow us, and you'll see the new developments, and then you'll see when we are able to schedule Curling LA, or is it LA Curling? Sorry. When we have the event for ScotWeek, we want you all to come and be part of that on the ice with Curling LA. And thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Liza.
Thank you.
So much.